Urgent call to action, time is running out. Your final spiritual assignment, the one you were destined for, is culminating. Are you ready to face the truth of whether you've truly fulfilled it? Join me as we embark on a powerful journey of reflection and introspection to discover if your divine mission is completed. My dear friends, he would often begin just like that, with a stillness in his voice that asked for your attention, not with a shout, but with a whisper that held the weight of the world. Let me ask you a question, one that may have followed you into this room. Have you ever felt a quiet tug on your spirit, a sense that you were marked for something more, not in a grand or boastful way, but in the quiet corners of your being, a knowing that you were set apart for a specific purpose? This is not a title of pride, but a burden of destiny. You are the chosen one, but this is not about the choosing. That part is already done. The universe has already whispered your name. The real question, the one that hangs in the air between us now, is about the assignment you were given, the one written on your soul before you even took a breath. I want you to look at the work of your hands, look at the landscape of your life, and ask yourself with a brutal and beautiful honesty, is it done? The answer to that is waiting for you to discover in the quiet that follows. If this truth found a home within you, if it stirred something you know you must finish, then do not let the feeling fade. Let it become an action. Press the like button on this video if you received your orders. Leave a comment with the number 11, a symbol for the divine assignment, to acknowledge you are ready to begin your work. And please subscribe to this channel. Your final assignment awaits its completion. That part is already done. The universe has already whispered your name. The real question, the one that hangs in the air between us now, is about the assignment you were given, the one written on your soul before you even took a breath. And this begins with that first faint sensation, the quiet tug of destiny. It never announces itself with a fanfare. It does not come with a clap of thunder or a blaze of light that blinds you. No, my dear friends, it is far more subtle than that, and because it is subtle, so many miss it. They are waiting for a billboard on the highway when the signal is a single fallen leaf brushing against their cheek. It is the feeling you get when you are doing something utterly mundane, washing a dish, walking down a familiar street, staring out a window, and for a fleeting moment, the veil between this world and another seems to thin. In that moment, a profound and unsettling sense of knowing washes over you. It is not a thought you formed, it is a truth that was placed within you. This tug is often mistaken for melancholy or a simple longing for something more, but it is distinct. It carries with it a specific gravity, a weight of purpose. It is the reason a particular path, though difficult, feels like the only one you can take. It is the inexplicable pull toward a person, a place, a skill, a field of study, a pull that defies all logical explanation. You find yourself drawn to it not because it is easy or profitable, but because it feels like a piece of a puzzle you were always meant to complete. It is the book that falls off the shelf and opens to a page that speaks directly to the secret question in your heart. It is the dream that lingers upon waking, not with the fog of fantasy, but with the crisp clarity of a memory from another life. This is the initial spark of the chosen one. It is the universe's first gentle nudge. And the tragedy is that we are taught to dismiss it. We call it coincidence. We call it imagination. We are told to be practical, to focus on the tangible world, to ignore these whispers as the fanciful musings of a mind that should know better. So we quiet the tug, we bury it under obligations, under the noise of daily life, under the fear of what it might mean if we were to actually listen. But the tug does not go away. It is patient. It waits. It returns in moments of silence, in times of crisis, in the deep exhale after a great achievement that still feels strangely empty. It is a quiet, persistent knocking at the door of your spirit. To acknowledge this tug is the first act of courage on this path. It is the decision to stop dismissing the whispers and to instead lean in to listen closely. It is the recognition that your life is not a random series of events, but a narrative with a direction, a story you are co-authoring with a source far greater than yourself. This subtle, often ignored sensation is the very thread you must follow if you ever hope to unravel the magnificent and terrifying mystery of why you are truly here. This subtle, often ignored sensation is the very thread you must follow if you ever hope to unravel the magnificent and terrifying mystery of why you are truly here. And as you take hold of that thread, you begin to feel its true weight. For to be the chosen one is to carry the profound found burden of being set apart. This is not a blessing one would lightly wish for. It is a severance, a sacred loneliness. It is the slow dawning realization that the map everyone else is using does not have your destination on it. The well-trodden paths, the conventional successes, the approval of the crowd, these things begin to feel like a language you no longer speak fluently. There is a distance that grows between you and the world you once thought was your home. You find yourself in a room full of people laughing and conversing, yet feeling a silent pane of glass between you and them, a sense of observing a play you are no longer or acting in. This is the burden of clarity, the price of seeing the deeper currents beneath the surface of things. It is the weight of a responsibility that was chosen for you, not by you. You feel the ache of the world, not as an abstract concept, but as a personal charge. You see a broken system and feel a quiet, insistent voice telling you that you must be part of its mending. You encounter a person in pain and feel a compulsion to offer a word, a gesture, not out of mere politeness, but because you recognize their struggle is, in some way, connected to your own purpose. This burden manifests as a divine discontent, a holy restlessness that makes you incapable of settling for the comfortable and the mediocre. It is the engine of your growth, but it is also a relentless taskmaster. This burden asks you to stand alone. It asks you to make choices that others will not understand, to walk away from good things in pursuit of the one necessary thing. It will cost you relationships, stability, and the easy comfort of belonging. You will be called strange, too intense, a dreamer. You will be told to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to be like everyone else. And in your weakest moments, you will be tempted to listen. You will look at the simple, unburdened lives of others and feel a pang of envy for a simplicity you can never again possess. To be set apart is to hold a sacred tension within your soul. It is the ache of being grounded in this earthly realm while your spirit is pulled by a celestial anchor. You belong to both, and yet fully to neither. You are a bridge, and a bridge must bear the weight from both sides without collapsing. This is the solitude of the path. It is the understanding that the calling on your life is not for your glory, but for a purpose that transcends you. The burden is the constant, humbling reminder that you are an instrument. The music you are meant to play is beautiful, but the instrument itself is shaped by pressure, by strain, by being set apart for a singular function. To carry this burden is not to be miserable, but to be made accountable. It is the fire that forges the metal of your character, preparing you for the work that only you can do. What? To carry this burden is not to be miserable, but to be made accountable. It is the fire that forges the metal of your character, preparing you for the work that only you can do. And that work, that specific, non-negotiable task, is the assignment written on the soul. This is not a career path you select from a list of options. It is not the job title on your business card. It is far more fundamental and ancient than that. Imagine for a moment that before your consciousness ever entered this world, a covenant was made. A specific set of coordinates for your life was imprinted upon the very fabric of your being. This is your soul's assignment. It is the unique and irreplaceable note you are meant to sound in the symphony of existence. Without it, the music of the world is incomplete. It is the reason you are drawn to certain landscapes, why your spirit quickens at the sight of a particular kind of problem, why a specific form of beauty can bring you to tears. These are not random preferences, they are clues. They are echoes of the original blueprint, faint memories of the home you came from and the mission you agreed to undertake. This assignment is often hidden in plain sight, woven into the very threads of your deepest joys and your most profound sorrows. The thing that brings you the most alive is often a direct reflection of it. Conversely, the wound that has caused you the most pain, the recurring challenge you cannot seem to escape, is very often the very ground upon which your assignment is meant to be built. Your greatest struggle is the raw material for your greatest contribution. The assignment is not separate from your pain. It is revealed through it. It asks you not to run from what has broken you, but to return to it with the tools of compassion and understanding you have gathered, and to begin the work of repair, first within yourself and then for the world. Discovering this assignment is the great treasure hunt of a lifetime. It requires a deep and patient listening, a sort of inner archaeology. You must sift through the layers of expectation, what your family wants for you, what society tells you to want for yourself, to uncover the authentic desire beneath. You must pay attention to the moments of flow when time seems to dissolve and you are acting from a place of effortless alignment. You must heed the quiet, persistent nudges that guide you toward one door and away from another. These are not whims. They are the navigation system of the soul calibrated to your unique destination. To ignore this assignment is to feel a slow, spiritual suffocation. It is to live a life that is technically correct, but essentially a forgery. You can achieve every external metric of success and still feel a hollow emptiness because you are living a life that was designed for someone else. The soul knows when it is off course, and it registers this divergence as a deep, abiding sense of homesickness for a place you have never been. To embrace the assignment, however, is to step into a river of meaning that has been flowing long before you arrived. It is to feel your individual life connect to something timeless and vast. The work becomes a form of worship, and the challenges become sacred tests, each one shaping you more perfectly into the vessel you were always meant to be. And so we arrive at the precipice of this knowing. We have felt the tug. We have accepted the burden. We have glimpsed the blueprint of our soul's assignment. And now, in the quiet that follows this revelation, there is only one thing left to do. We must ask ourselves with a brutal and beautiful honesty, the single most important question of our lives: is it done? This is not a question for the ego. The ego will rush to fill the silence with a list of accomplishments, with certificates on the wall and numbers in an account. It will point to the business, the long hours, the tangible proofs of effort. But this question, is it done, cuts through all of that noise. It is a question directed at the deepest part of your being, the part that remembers the covenant, the part that holds the original blueprint. And it demands an answer that resonates in the truth of your spirit, not in the chatter of your resume. This brutal honesty is the most difficult work you will ever do. It requires you to lay down all your excuses, all your justifications, all the stories you tell yourself about why you have not yet begun or why you stopped along the way. It asks you to look at the gap between the man or woman you are today and the vessel you were designed to become. It is to stand before the unfinished sculpture of your own destiny and to have the courage to see the block of stone that still remains rather than admiring the small part you have already carved. This is not an exercise in self-condemnation, but one of clear-eyed assessment. It is the necessary, sober audit of the soul. You will know the answer not in your mind, but in your body. You will feel it as a tightness in your chest when you are doing something that is not aligned. You will hear it as a whisper of disappointment in a moment of supposed success that feels hollow. You will see it in the dreams you have let grow cold, in the passion you have rationalized away as impractical, in the love you have been too guarded to give. The evidence is everywhere once you have the courage to look. The unfinished assignment casts a long shadow over a life, and we learn to live in its shade, mistaking the dimness for the normal light of day. To ask, is it done? Is to finally step out into the sun and feel the full, unforgiving light of your own potential. It is to acknowledge the distance you have yet to travel. This question, when held with beautiful honesty, becomes the most powerful catalyst for change you will ever encounter. It will not allow you to remain where you are. It creates a holy dissatisfaction, a divine unrest that dismantles complacency. It transforms a vague feeling that something is missing into a precise and urgent understanding of exactly what that something is. The question itself becomes the starting line. The moment you ask it with true intent, you have already begun to close the gap. You have stopped pretending. You have turned away from the life you were merely enduring, and you have set your face toward the life you were destined to live. The work begins not with a grand action, but with this quiet, seismic shift in your own awareness. And so the work begins not with a grand action, but with this quiet, seismic shift in your own awareness. This shift, this moment of stark and honest reckoning, is the essential catalyst, but awareness alone is not completion. The bridge between the truth you have acknowledged and the life you are destined to live is built with the sturdy, unglamorous materials of action. This is the critical passage from knowing to doing. The soul's assignment does not fulfill itself. It does not descend from the heavens as a finished work. It is a collaboration, a constant dialogue between your will and the divine intention. You have been given the blueprint, but you must supply the labor. You must lay the bricks one by one, day after day, even when your hands are tired and the vision seems distant. This is where many falter. They have the revelation, they feel the inspiration, they can see the mountaintop with perfect clarity, but they stand at the base, looking up at the arduous climb, and they choose to simply admire the view from below. They confuse the map for the territory, the recipe for the meal. They believe that because they have understood the assignment, they have in some way accomplished it. This is the great deception of the spiritual path. The transition from knowing to doing is the most vulnerable space you will inhabit. It is here that resistance gathers its full strength. Fear will present itself as practicality. Procrastination will dress itself in the robes of preparation. Doubt will whisper that you are not yet ready, that you need more knowledge, more certainty, more signs from the universe before you can take the first step. but the universe is waiting on you. The signs have already been given. The first step is never taken in full certainty. It is taken in faith. It is a commitment made to a path whose end you cannot see, trusting that each step will reveal the next. This doing is not always dramatic. It is not always about grand gestures and public declarations. More often, it is a private, disciplined series of choices. It is the choice to wake up an hour earlier to write that first page, to practice that skill, to sit in that silence. It is the choice to say no to an invitation that would drain your energy so you can preserve it for your true work. It is the choice to have the difficult conversation you have been avoiding, to forgive the old wound that has been holding you back, to invest your resources in your growth instead of your comfort. These small, consistent acts of alignment are the stitches that sew the garment of your destiny. They are the quiet, determined movement from the person you were to the vessel you are becoming. This is the great alchemy of the spirit, to transmute the ethereal substance of a dream into the dense, tangible reality of a life lived on purpose. Every action taken in alignment with the soul's assignment, no matter how small, sends a ripple through the fabric of your being. It reinforces the new identity. It strengthens the muscle of your will. It communicates to the universe and to the deepest parts of yourself that you are serious, that you are no longer just a student of the map, but an explorer of the territory. You are building the bridge, and with every step you take upon it, the destination draws nearer, not as a distant hope, but as an inevitable conclusion to the commitment you make anew each day. And with every step you take upon it, the destination draws nearer, not as a distant hope, but as an inevitable conclusion to the commitment you make anew each day. This relentless, faithful doing brings you to the final and most profound stage of the journey, the reason for the tug, the burden, and the assignment itself, the act of completion. Completion is not a point on a calendar. It is not the final item checked off a cosmic to-do list. It is a state of being. It is the moment your inner being is in perfect resonance with the original intention for your life. It is the feeling of the final piece of a complex puzzle sliding into place, not just in your mind, but in your soul. You have become the living, breathing embodiment of the assignment that was written upon you. The vessel is now perfectly shaped to hold the water it was designed to carry. This is the fulfillment of the chosen one's path. It is the moment the seed realizes it has become the tree it was always meant to be, not by striving to be something else, but by fully surrendering to its own innate design and reaching its full, majestic stature. This act of completion often looks nothing like what the world would call finished. Your work may continue, your projects may evolve, but the essential inner work is done. The core conflict within you has been resolved. The primary lesson has been learned and integrated. The love you were meant to give has been given. The truth you were meant to speak has been spoken. The forgiveness you were meant to offer, both to yourself and to others, has been released. This is an internal state of wholeness that radiates outward, transforming your external reality into a perfect reflection of that inner harmony. You are no longer fighting against your own nature. You are flowing with it. You are no longer building the bridge. You are standing firmly upon it, a stable connection between the world of spirit and the world of form. Arriving at this point requires a final, total surrender. It is the release of the last vestiges of the ego that still clings to a smaller story of who you are. It is letting go of the need for a particular outcome and trusting that the work itself, when done with purity of heart, is its own reward. It is the acceptance that you have done all you can do, that you have poured every ounce of your being into the purpose you were given, and now you can place the results back into the hands of the universe. This surrender is not a resignation. It is the ultimate act of power and trust. It is saying, I have fought my battle. I have run my race. I have been faithful to the call. Now it is done. In this state of completion, a profound peace descends. It is a silence that is more musical than any sound. It is the quiet satisfaction that comes not from applause or external validation, but from the deep, unshakable knowing that you have answered the question with the entirety of your life. You have honored the tug, you have carried the burden, you have deciphered the assignment, and you have, through the long and patient journey from knowing to doing, finally brought it into being. The chosen one is no longer chosen, but fulfilled. The seeker has become the embodiment of what was sought.